If you want to know who someone really is, don't look at their Instagram. Look at how they park. My neighbor Ryan was the kind of guy who wore gym shorts everywhere, played EDM at 2 a.m., and thought, "I'll only be a minute," was a magic phrase that allowed him to leave his car anywhere, including my driveway, over and over, until the night I let a tow truck driver teach him the meaning of, "at your own risk." I'm Melissa. I'm 28 and live in a small duplex on a quiet street in Phoenix. My half of the house comes with exactly two things that make desert life bearable: central air, a narrow but glorious driveway that gets my car off the oven-hot street. I work weird hours as an ER nurse. Sometimes I leave at 6 a.m., sometimes I crawl home at 3 a.m. Being able to pull straight into my driveway instead of walking down the block in scrubs and Crocs is not a luxury, it's a necessity. 2 years ago, a guy named Ryan moved into the other half of the duplex. At first, he seemed fine. Late 20s, sales job, truck with obnoxious exhaust. The kind of neighbor you nod to at the mailbox. "Sup," he said the first time we crossed paths. "You're on the left, I'm on the right. Shared wall, shared pain, right?" He laughed. I smiled politely. "Just don't steal my Amazon packages and we'll be good," I said. In hindsight, I should said, "Just don't steal my parking spot." The first time Ryan parked in my driveway, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. It was a Friday night. I had a rare weekend off and had gone out to dinner with friends. When I came home around 10, a gleaming black F-150 was sitting across my driveway like it owned the concrete. I double-checked the number on the mailbox. Yep, still 4112. My sighed. For a second I thought maybe we'd had guests. Then I saw the "No regrets" bumper sticker. Definitely Ryan. I sighed, parked on the street 3 houses down, and trudged inside carrying leftovers and irritation. I knocked on his door. He answered with a beer in hand, wearing a tank top that said, "Ses oat guns, oat." "Hey," I said, forcing a smile. "I think you parked in my driveway by accident." He leaned against the frame. "Oh yeah," he said. "I didn't want to block my own drive because my buddy might come by later. I'll move it in a bit. I actually need to leave early in the morning," I said. "Can you move it now?" He glanced at the game on his TV. "Give me like 15, he said. Kickoff just started. I bit my tongue. "Okay," I said. 15. I went back inside, watched the clock. 20 minutes later, the truck was still there. I texted the number the landlord had given me for neighbor coordination. "Mihate, can you move your truck? I really do need to be able to get out in the morning." "Ryan, chill, I will later. I'm not drunk." At 11:30 I gave up and went to bed. The next morning I came out of bed at 50:30 for a 7 a.m. shift. The truck was still there, lights off, no keys, no sign of life from Ryan's windows. I called. Straight to voicemail. I pounded on his door, nothing. After 5 minutes of panic knocking, he finally stumbled to the door, eyes squinty. "Oh, you weren't kidding about early," he said. "Move the truck," I said through clenched teeth. He did, grumbling about some people not being able to relax. I was late to work. My manager wasn't thrilled. Neither was I. That should have been the end. But like mold and bad sequels, people like Ryan keep coming back. Over the next few months, the parking misunderstandings multiplied. Sometimes it was just for a minute while he ran in to grab something. A minute that magically turned into an hour. Sometimes it was because my girlfriend's car is too big for my side. Sometimes it was delivery guys get confused, it's easier if they can see my truck. Whatever the reason, the pattern was the same. My driveway, his truck, me screwed. I tried all the normal things, polite reminders, door knocks, texts, even sticky notes. PNS do note par. I'm more giatianity andiobia blu giokidinaandou. He'd smile that frat boy smile. "Got it, nurse Mel," he'd say. "You're so intense." Then he'd do it again a week later. I mentioned it to our landlord, Mr. Jenkins. He's 70, lives across town, and believes every problem can be solved with neighborly communication. "Have you two talked?" he asked. "Yes," I said. He laughs it off. Jenkins sighed. "I don't like to get in the middle," he said. "You're adults. Surely you can work it out? Adults, right?" I read our lease. There, in black and whitey. Each unit is assigned one driveway space. Tenants shall not block or otherwise obstruct the other tenant's drive. Violations may result in towing at tenant's expense. There it was. My golden ticket. Towing. But I didn't want to jump straight to that. I didn't want to be that neighbor. I just wanted him to respect a basic boundary. So I gave him one last warning. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I didn't have a shift until the night. Ryan was in his driveway, wiping down the F-150 like it was a show pony. "Hey," I said, walking over. "We need to talk about the parking again." He sighed dramatically. Oh my God, are we still on that? He said. Yes, I said. Because it keeps happening. My driveway is not your overflow lot. He smirked. You always sound like an HOA, he said. Cool, I said. Then consider this a violation notice. Next time you block my driveway without permission, I'm having it towed. The lease says I can. He straightened. You wouldn't, he said. Try me, I replied. He rolled his eyes. Fine, he said. Whatever. Relax, Mel. I'll park on my side. For a couple of weeks he did. I almost let my guard down. Then came date night. I knew something was up the moment I saw the outfit. On Saturday afternoon I came from errands and saw Ryan in the driveway in an actual button-down shirt. No tank top. No sports logo. Real shoes. Even cologne strong enough to make my eyes water from 10 feet around. Big Plate asked. He grinned. Hot date, he said. Met her on Hinge. She's into hiking and sushi and guys with their life together. He air-quilled, politely. Nice, I said. Where are you taking her? Fancy place downtown, he said. Valet and everything. He looked at my side of the duplex. Hey, he said. Do you mind if I park in your driveway for tonight? Just tonight. I don't want anything happening to my truck on the street. People key nice cars around here. That's not my problem, I said. You have your own driveway. He grimaced. My side's a mess, he said. Got the jet ski trailer, plus my roommate's junk, it's a tight squeeze. Simon, don't be like that. It's my big night. I thought about it, then shook my head. No, I said. We've talked about this. My answer is no. If you're worried about your truck, clean your driveway? He frowned. You're really not going to help a brother out? He said. You're not my brother, I said. And you don't help me out when I'm late for work. He muttered something under his breath I pretended not to hear. Whatever, he said. I'll figure it out. I went inside, watched Netflix. Forgot about it until 6:45 p.m. when I checked my front window and saw his truck in my driveway. Again I stared for a full 30 seconds. Surely I was imagining it. Surely he wouldn't be that stupid. He was. A ride-a-share pulled up to the curb. Ryan came out with a woman in a red dress and heels. He was all smiles and charm. He opened the car door for her. As they drove off, he glanced at my window. Gave a little salute. Like we were in on some harmless prank. Blood rushed in my ears. I pulled out my phone. Opened the contact I'd added 2 weeks earlier after reading the lease and talking to Jenkins. Tao Valley Recovery Services. I'd done my homework. Called them in advance. ASCII. Can I have someone towed from my assigned driveway on private property? As long as you're the tenant or owner and there's a clear sign or lease clause, yes. The dispatcher had said, we'll need photo proof they're blocking you. I had the lease. I had the preeld. I had the nerve. I dialed. Valley Recovery? A bored voice answered. Hi, I said. I have an unauthorized vehicle blocking my driveway on private property. I'm the lease holder. He asked for the address. Make and model. He added. Black Ford F-150, I said. Big. Obnoxious exhaust. He chuckled. Got it, he said. Truck's in your driveway right now? Not partially fully blocking. Completely, I said. I can't get my car out if I needed to. Text me a photo. He said, giving me a number. I did. He replied, Tao rolling out 20 min. I sat on the couch, heart pounding, and peeked through the blinds every 5 minutes. At 7:12 p.m., a tow truck backed into the cul-de-sac. The driver hopped out on, looked at the truck, then at me. You Melissa, he called. Yep, I said, stepping out with the lease page in hand. He glanced at it. You warned the guy. Times, I said. He shrugged. Fair enough, he said. We'll take good care of her, until he pays the $300 release fee. I watched, adrenaline buzzing, as he threw F-150 up. The winch whined. The truck rolled slowly up onto the flatbed. I took a photo. For my records. The driver tipped his hat. Have a nice night, he said. Oh, I said. 9:48 p.m. There was furious pounding on my door. I'd been waiting. I opened it a crack. Ryan stood there, tie loosened, date nowhere in sight. Where is my truck? He'd a yard, I think. I said. Unless it grew legs. That's not funny. He snapped. Did you seriously have it towed? On my date night? Yes, I said. Because it was blocking my driveway. Again. After I explicitly said no. After I warned you what would happen. You're insane, he said. You ruined my night. I had to Uber her home. She can be grateful it wasn't with you driving, I said. Given your reading comprehension. He glared. You're paying for this, he said. Tau fee impound, all of it. Or I'm calling the cops. Go ahead, I said. I'll show them the lease, the photos, the texts where I told you not to park there. They'll probably tell you it's a civil matter, and that you owe the Tau company. You can't just, he sputtered. Yes, I can, I said, and I did. You don't respect my words, you can respect my boundaries enforced by a winch. He ran his hands through his hair. This is insane, he repeated. We're neighbors. You could have just knocked. I did, I said. For months. You laugh, this is me taking you seriously. He opened his mouth, closed it, then jabbed a finger in my direction. You're a jerk, he said. Maybe, I said. But I have a clear driveway. Good night. I shut the door. His yelling turned to muffled cursing on the porch, then silence. The next day, his truck was back. Parked in his own driveway. Miracles do happen. He stewed for a while. I'd hear him telling anyone who would listen, friends, delivery drivers, his mom on speakerphone, about his crazy neighbor, who loves towing, conveniently leaving out the part where he'd been warned repeatedly. One afternoon home to find him and Jenkins in the yard. Jenkins looked uncomfortable. Melissa, he said. Ryan tells me there was a towing incident. Yes, I said. He blocked my driveway again. The lease says I can have unauthorized vehicles removed. I used that right. Ryan crossed his arms. Isn't this overkill for a simple mistake, he said. We've gone over this, I said many times. It's not a mistake anymore. It's a pattern. Jenkins cleared his throat. Would you ask tenants to try to work things out peacefully? He said. I did, I said. This was peaceful. No screaming. No broken windows. Just enforcement of the written agreement. He couldn't really argue. The wording was right there. He sighed. Just maybe call me before you call a tow next time, he said weakly. Sure, I said. If there is a next time, there wasn't. Ryan started parking on the street when his driveway was blocked. He cleaned out the jet ski junk. He even once knocked on my door to ask if I'd be okay with him backing into my driveway for 5 minutes while moving furniture. I said yes. Because here's the thing. The goal was never to torment him. It was to make him treat my space like mine. The tow truck had done what polite conversation couldn't. Do I feel guilty about nuking his big date night? Not particularly. He had a choice. Many, in fact. He could have parked on his own side. He could have taken the risk on the street. He could have believed me when I said, next time, I tow. Instead, he gambled that I was bluffing. He lost. My neighbor kept parking in my driveway, so I had his card during his big date night. Sure. Effective. Absolutely. Sometimes, the only way people learn that, I'll only be a minute, isn't a magic spell, is when that minute ends in a 300 tow bill and a very long Uber ride home.